Right, so dirty section plates. We've got the top and the bottom of the dirty. And we're going to work on those, and we're also going to work with, there we go, there's the dirty plates. I'm going to be moving this camera over this way so that we can get to see some of the vice and the methods that we use on this. There's definitely some easy bits, some tricks. There's a couple of ways to do it. We'll go over both of them. I managed to find a really cool tool for the job. It's this guy right here. Vice grip, I don't know, 10 inches or so. Yeah, the GV10 is what it is. It just so happens that it's got like the perfect distance in between its vice grips at that point there, and it's got really small increments along the side, so you can get it right. It's not much, you know, less than $10, and it enables you to be able to crush some of these broaching nuts into the top plate. Now we'll do multiple methods because my hands are going to get tired from doing that, so I'm going to kind of move over to a vice after a little while. But we've come up with these broaching nuts, super good little design, I think, purely because when you're out in the field and you need to, you know, if you do break an arm or if you've got to do any repairs, you're not having to look after where the nut is. It might hit the grass. I mean, you're going to have some problems, but this is just going to make your life a whole lot easier. Move some of this out of the way. Easy lizard, easy tiger. Don't be going anywhere. Sorry dude, chucking that at you. And I'm done.
I just lost our stream.
Oh no, no juice for you. So because we're going through the dirty build, we're not going to put the clean section in. It does mean that we're going to put the broaching nuts in a different place. So I really only need 12 of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I'm going to put the rest of these away. Or is it going to be 13? Yeah, it's going to be 13. So I'm going to put the rest of these away, stick them back in the bag. You use more, like I'm going to say, you use more if you build this drone into the clean build. Big difference to the clean and the dirty build, you're going to get more of the vibration dampening. So if you are looking to race, have fun, crash a lot, then, you know, I recommend doing the dirty build. If you want to do all of that racing and have all the fun, but you also want to mix it up with some really smooth video shots, you know, a lot of times you can do the clean build and you're going to get that extra vibration dampening. It can really help out. A lot of the times you can tune the vibrations out as well, but kind of for those that haven't done a lot of this, you're probably going to appreciate the ability to have the clean build. Let's have a bit more light on the situation. So there's going to be a layout that we're going to go for. We're going to go for the 4 center. These are the power and the naze stack, and then you've got 2 for each arm, there and there and there and there, and then we're going to do 1 for the FPV cam. Now note, you've got some different layouts of the board. Whoa, let me get that in the shot. Ah, rookie. Alright, let me try again. So, yeah, you got, these are both of the baseboards. This is the bottom dirty section, and this is the top dirty section. These are the ones with the wings on them. Obviously you can see the wires are going to come up through here, so they do look a little bit different. They've both got these slots on the bottom, but that's how you tell the difference. So we're not going to push anything into that. We're just going to do it on this one. We're going to push the first 12 in on the same side of the board. As you can tell from some of that shot right there, there you go, you can see some of the differences in the hole sizes. So these ones there and there are a bit bigger than these. Obviously therefore they're going to accept a broaching nut. A broaching nut really is nothing more than a nice little silver nut with some teeth on the one side of it, so it's kind of tapered on one end, and we're going to push that tapered teethed, I just dropped it in the trash, and because I have the stock, I'm going to just grab another one out of the bag, but if you guys do that, go digging in your trash. As he moves his trash can. Rubbish bin, sorry.
Rubbish.
England. Rubbish bin.
Do they really call it that?
Yeah, definitely. I shouldn't call it a trash can, but I'm just tired of telling.
Rubbish bin? That sounds like a lot of syllables.
Well, we care about pronunciation. So I'm going to line it up with the finger, and we're going to get it over the hole, and then we're going to get the pliers on it, and it's pretty simple, pretty easy. You just give it a bit of a pinch. You know, you give it a two-handed pinch. It's simple-ish, it's easy-ish, it's not that easy. It does take quite a bit of force, but hey, that's what you want. You want it to go in pretty firm and flat. Flat is definitely a key. When you see a side that isn't flat, you come back and you give it a bit of a squeeze. So I've got that one in. That one actually looks really clean. It's flush, and you can kind of just tell the difference. We'll line one of these up so you can see a nut that's been pushed in and a nut that hasn't been pushed in. There you go. Not really in focus, but you're gonna get the idea. Cool. So I'm just going to go through and bang these out. Just be careful when you're going through this. Make sure you get them all in the same side. And I'm going to pull this back up. We're going to get a bit of a macro view. Lizard, where are you going? Where are you going, sir? Alright, there you go. That's going to be easier. Get it in, get it on there, pretty square in the hole, and then just give it a pinch. And it pops in. Yeah, what you got? No? Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Something's a bit off with that one. You're probably going to be replacing Dave's over here working on a little ladybird. We're going to be sending something else out, and yeah, so he's doing a few repairs over there, helping us out. Yeah, I think so. Either that or a ghost is taking a piss in the bathroom. You can fix that now.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, the mechanism needs replaced, and it's starting to give up. Alright, if it doesn't go in square, just give it another go and squeeze it in. I'm just going to pull this back a little. Sorry, we'll be done messing with the camera in just a minute. Alright. I really don't mind this method. It puts a little mark on the carbon. It scratches the bottom just ever so slightly. But I mean, no big deal, right? You're gonna get loads of scratches when you start crashing this thing into the dirt. And realistically, it is just a scratch. So it's not a showroom model version that I'm trying to come up with here. I'm just trying to make a drone and get it done. All right, so that's the first 4 on the arms. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more. I'm going to do them in the vise just to show the option. See if we can't twist that round over here. Alright, here we go. So a little table pony vise, 20 bucks, not much. Clamps on the table, absolutely amazing. I definitely recommend getting something like this. Just line that up in there and then start squeezing it in. As you do it, you're going to watch the nut go in, so you're not going to over tighten it, you're not going to wreck your carbon. It does take quite a bit of pressure. Kind of wish that my little pony vise had a longer arm on it, so I wouldn't have to push so hard. But that goes in really, really flat. I'm super impressed by the way the vise gets the job done. I don't know which one takes more effort, but these broaching nuts are wicked. We went backwards and forwards on whether or not to use them for a while, but after using them out in the field, it's totally the right choice. They're amazing. Bit of a squeeze. Whew. There you go, yeah, kind of put a bit of a dent in the bottom. I don't really care. Certainly doesn't create any weakness. It's all good.
You may have already mentioned it too, but the ability to like swap those arm mounts is badass.
Yeah, man. 4 screws, no messing around, no dropping pieces. Where you going, Spike? Hey, where you going, pal? I wouldn't be base jumping. Not going to do very well. Oh, last thing I need you to do is climb up on the edge. You're going to leave marks, dude. He's testing out my flesh. He's like, this doesn't grip very well.
Interested to see where he goes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely, can't see him. Cannot see
In
him.
your blind spot.
Ow, it hurts. Get your claws out my flesh. My buddy.
He just wants to watch.
Yeah. Let him have a little control. He can chill right there.
So have you ever seen this before? Right when I give it juice, the motor starts spinning?
No.
I've never seen it before.
No, I haven't. That's neat. It could be a problem with the flight controller board. You might end up having to swap that out. Alright, so we've got the arms done. I'm going to go for the center now. Get the 4 done on here. Make sure I don't screw this up. Pretty sure, yep, definitely going on the right side. Yeah, those ladybirds have been through hell and back, mate. They have been smashed time and time again into a wall. But that's the coolest thing about those two. They take a kicking and they just keep flying. But that one, I believe, has needed a bit of TLC for a while now. I'm just going to vice this one. Alright, got it. Don't be going anywhere, Spike. Just going to vice the last couple in. Why not? Now when I do it, I'm kind of using my thumb to stop the nut from falling out. Hold that in place. Push it up against this side of the vice, holding it in place. So again, it just doesn't move. You don't want it to wiggle, because when you're going to crush it with this, you really want it to be lined up quite well first. Alright, in goes that one. Next. Sweet. One more for the center 4, and then we'll go for the FPV cam mount one. And the FPV mount is an optional. Depends on the kind of camera that you're going to use. But personally, I don't want to take my drone apart just to be able to put that nut in if I fancy doing it later. So there we go. I've got all of those in. Looking pretty good. So the one I'm going to do next is this hole right here. And I'm going to go on the opposite side. The reason being, you always want the screw to pull the force against the broaching nut. So the screws are always going to go through this way, and it cinches it in place. So what you end up doing if you use one of these different kind of cameras on the top is you put the screw in from this side. So I want to put the broaching nut in the bottom. So I'm going to drop this guy in there. Make sure you do that right way around. Cool. That guy's in. Nice and square. I really don't like these hanging out at any funny angle. So if they're not flush, if they're not flat, go for it again, get them pressed in, get that job done, get that finished out properly. Okay, back to the build. little bit of a pain, well worth it, no big deal. Next we are going to get some bits out. I'm going to just hang on a minute. Oh yeah, I've been making it from the tin, and this is this is, I'm just getting confused because I'm doing another build over there. I'm like, am I stealing from the wrong bag now? That would have been amusing. Nope, I'm good. So I don't need all this crap out, but I'm just taking it out anyway. It's easier to find stuff, I guess.
Thinking about this guy on here. Should we just test him?
Oh, we have another one up there. Honestly, mate, both of them don't work very well right now. They both need TLC. They are. I'm almost certain that you're going to be changing a flight controller board out. Is that a new flight controller board that you've got right there?
No, it's just one's just on.
Okay.
Do you have any ones?
Yeah, it should be one in that kit, in the box. Please, before you take those apart anymore, rule number one with messing around with drones, everyone, is take a picture of it before you pull the wires off, so you know which way around they go,
Yeah,
and you know which leg they go to, and all the rest of it. Pictures are your best friends. You'll take stuff apart and be like, oh no, and then you'll go to put it back together, and things won't work right, and yeah, it's just a bit of a pain in the balls. So, just good trick. Take a photo, doesn't hurt. Don't need any of that stuff just right now. I'll chuck that back in. Don't need the LED. I'll be messing around with the LED, so I'm going to keep that out. Maybe messing around with that later. Those are coming up, so I'll keep those out. 5mm screws. Yeah, we'll just start chucking it over here. I'll be going in for this in a minute. Okay. And my 10mm screws. Did I just bung those back in? I think I might have. Right, 10mm screws. I need some of these. It's almost like a Mario tune, isn't it? Okay, we're going to go for the power distribution board. PDB is your acronym there if you don't know. And I want all of my 1mm washers out. They can be a pain, a little sticky. I'm going for the 1mm washers. There you go, I got 4 of them. That's all I need out of this bag, so I'm going to bung everything else back in. I'll get back to the rest of that. Alright, 4 1mm washers. 1mm, yeah, 1mm that way. And they're an M3 hole, so perfectly lines up for everything we need for what we're about to do. Start putting the things that I need over there. And I need 4 of these 10mm screws. Get a couple of these out. Okay, that would be 5. Cool. Next. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Coming up from the bottom. We're going to start on the bottom here and we're just going to screw straight through. Jeez. Little fiddly fingers at this point. Hang on. Let me get a tool. Sometimes people use little like power drills at this point. I mean, you can save yourself a couple of seconds if you want to mess around with it, but I really like hand tightening whenever I'm using, whenever I'm building a drone. So I try to stay away from power tools. How's it going? Does it look sick?
It wasn't binding yet.
Yeah.
Just this one, these items.
Ta-da! We'll get all 4 screws going through this centre plate and we'll start building up the centre plate. I do these up tight when I put them in, just because I want the screws, I want these broaching nuts to hold and I want them to be in real nice and snug. course I come back and tighten everything a little later. This tool's really good. I really like it for its grip and its rotating head, but I've kind of worn the tip down, so I just grab one of my other tools that's got a really decent square head on it, so I don't strip any of the heads off of these steel screws. Can happen, you know, try not to. Make sure you put a good bit of pressure into the screw as you do it up, and you'll be a happier person. You don't really want to strip those. Okay, next we're going to start stacking on the washers. You need it's kind of a safety precaution here. I wouldn't say you need it, but you know, I just don't want any power jumping into the board, so I do like the plastic 1mm washers to go on next. This really shouldn't allow any power to conduct into the frame, but now at least I know it won't, because it's going to touch in plastic. Doesn't really matter which way around you throw the board in, it's all the same. Just want to kind of line it up, give it a push, down it goes, nice and flush, just like so. Job's done. Alright, don't forget, this is the back of the drone, this is the front of the drone. You've got these two little camera slots here, you've got the zip tie holes for the power lead down here. That's how you're going to know front and back of the frame. Okay, there's an array of different nylon standoffs. The ones that we're going to use for this specific build are going to be the 5mm male female, put the rest of these away. Simple enough, just screw this right on there. Get that plate out of the way. And we're really just kind of building up the stack, right? We're got power first, then we'll start doing the control board, the nays. 5mm spacer seems to be enough. I haven't really had any problems, and you just take a little bit of care as you go through some of the wiring, and all the wires that you need will get in and out of that little 5mm gap that you've got. So there you go, there's your next step done. Ooh, lizard, where are you going? Just chill on my shoulder, pal, just chill. Okay, at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to bust out one of my files. I got a whole array of files so that you can do the job that you need. I think I'm just going to go with this one. It's flat, it's got a good point to it, and works quite well. You don't want the sharp-edged carbon cutting any of your wires. Obviously, power shortage, big problem. You're going to have wires coming in from the arms there, here, and here. So, because of the way the boards work, right, we're going to be sandwiching these boards together, like this. Front and back, top and bottom. So, the wires, the way that I build this, the wires are going to be coming in between this gap. So all I really need to do is file down this side here, and I've got to go and do that on all four, there, and there. Now, I'm going to knock that out in a second. I'm going to do it over the trash can. I'm not going to breathe it in. It's definitely bad. You don't want to breathe this stuff in. You really should just do this filing bit outside, well ventilated, wear a mask, take the safety precautions, don't breathe it in. It's horrible stuff. We're also going to file this edge here all the way around this hole. I'm going to flip the board over. I'm going to do exactly the same right here. Alright. This is like when I want one of those cooking shows where I can be like, and there's the done one. So totally don't feel like filing this inside, but yeah, I'm going to...
I can file away too when you prep something else.
Yeah, you want to file away? Alright. So you've got this and this for me to do, yeah?
Outside there.
Yeah.
And then inside, yeah.
But yeah, you've only obviously got to do one side, not the other, because that doesn't really matter. But yeah, and that way I'll see, because you would have filed it down. But yeah, so that bit there, and then both sides of this. Magic. Appreciate it.
Give me that trash can.
It's going to be a tad noisy with the old microphone.
Yeah, I could go over here.
Lizard! You gonna bite me? You give me some love? Give me a little lick. Bearded dragons, man. Well cool. So chill. They don't run anywhere. Are you done with that next step? Because I need those pieces. I guess we're just going to prep out the pieces that we need and take 5 while he gets that filing done. Alright, so we've got 40mm standoffs. Probably going to be changing these out pretty soon. Some of our really good testers have found that the aluminium standoffs are working just as fantastic as the plastic, and then you can kind of tighten your screws down just a little bit more. They've got a bit more resiliency, so we're going to migrate over to some of the aluminium. Alright, I need some other screws. I'm digging for some of the long ones now. We give you a set of cap head 16mm screws. Alright, we've got the cap head 16s, we've got the 40mm standoffs, and we're going to want to use these 3mm, again M3 spacers. So a little bit thicker this time. They're going to go in between the gap of the frame. That's going to fit real nice, real snug, and enable us to put all this together. Come back with some of this. So yeah, that's just kind of the next set of gear you're going to want to just pull out the bag, get ready. Just review this just so you know what I'm talking about whenever I go over it. This guy right here in the left hand, this is a cap head screw, and this guy on the right, button head screw. Both got the same hex style head. Cap heads are 2.5mm, the little button heads are a 2mm. Generally you can kind of crank these cap heads down a little tighter. What do you think, buddy? Don't eat me. Not food. At least you're not looking at my ears thinking about grub. Or pooping. Don't be thinking about pooping. Okay. I'm going to keep these arms in the right position, because that's going to start to become really important. We're about to start mounting the 2 base frames. Dude, where you go? Bloody hell, the lizard's on the run. He's off. So yeah, 1, 2, 1 here, 2 there, 3 there, 4 there, and a lizard just going for a walk. Where are you off to? Where are you off to? Get back up here. How's that filing going, Dave? Alright, maybe a video. Find another one. Blast the video out. Let's go for one more low and fast. Oh bloody hell, am I still streaming that tune? Probably got a terrible tune going on. Not paying attention. Alright. Might be good. Pause that one. Here we go. Let's just have another video. Low and fast down in Australia. a really cool spot they found here. Oh, hi, lizard. What are you doing, buddy? Where are you going? Where are you going? I'm going to go for a walk. File! File, David! File! What do you think? Do you want to go home? Get some warmth? No, no. You're going to end up on my beer. Oh, you bad devil's lizard. Man, he's got the 4S batteries going on here. Just ripping this track they made up around these trees. I think he's probably chasing Mr. Potts. These guys did so good this day. Just tearing it up. I'm just going to go and put this lizard back in his house. Buddy. As soon as I put him away, he wants back out. Hope you all enjoyed that video. It was pretty sick. Let's have one from Will ripping around the Drone Nationals race. Or the parrot. But onboard FPV cam. Will, I can't believe you were racing as well as you were, man, looking through this. That was gnarly. Some pretty sketchy video to have to be dealing with. Blasting under the Drone X Labs gate, love it. Coming around the bend for another one. Sweet, man, you were holding a good line. I personally managed a few laps and then crashed. Pretty hard.
If you need me better on them, just let me know.
Cool, man. Thank you. Perfect.
They're a little carbony.
Oh, you mean like a rag?
Dusty.
Yeah, that's a good call. There's a big blue paper towel roll, I think, round the corner. This way. I think. Look for a big roll of blue. Otherwise, there's just paper towels upstairs somewhere. For sure, wash your hands after that. Blast it, Will.
sir.
Cheers, pal. Alright. Bust back out. That was some good stuff. Nice flying. We go back over to the build desk. See if I can't put these tunes back on. If you guys are digging the tunes, I don't know. I just found something. I'm like, let's just have ourselves a little listen. Whatever we can do, eh? No copyrighted music. Some ambient mix happening. Cool, so we're back and the legs are formed into the right angle. Here we have, make sure we're doing the right thing for you all. Okay, we have got the bottom dirty plate, the top dirty plate, and the sides here have been filed, and they've also been filed here. If I hold that in the light the right way, you can really kind of see the way Dave's ground that carbon down for us. He's just put that dull edge on it. Your wires are going to really thank you, and you really don't want to skip that part of the job. Pretty important. Okay. Next. You know what? I've got a major prep out the wrong pieces. These bits over here, just put them aside. They do go together. That is a section, but that's the following step. What you actually need right now is 8 of the 10mm screws. There we go, looks about right. And what we're going to do with these is we're going to go into the holes right here, all 8 of these. We're going to basically get the arms sandwiched between this plate, and we're going to start dropping those in. Super fun times.
Spike's all active over there.
Yeah, man, he's all fired up now, isn't he? So, just going to start kind of threading the wires through. You're going to just really enjoy this moment. Again, make sure you get your arms the right way around, guys. You want to be able to push those together, so just one last final reminder on that. We are going to be using the 5-inch setup, like I talk about. The 5-inch or 6-inch arm setup is either using this hole and then the screw goes right up here, or you end up using this slot, this part of the slot, and then this end of the slot. So we're going to use the hole and then the first one. That's what I'm lining up, that's what I'm going for. This is where the wire is going to thread through. That's the kind of general layout of the way I like my wires to go, and I use a light to kind of shine through and see through those holes. That's a bit of a pain for you to see, but there you go, just shows that I've kind of got that bit figured out. Lots of times when you're doing this part, magic third hand is really useful. Again, not impossible to do it on your own, just fiddly, just really fiddly, and more fun with a friend. So yeah, I'm just gonna fiddle around and kind of try to do this without magic third hand. We'll see how far I get before I quit and just
He's right here.
request some assistance.
He's right here.
Take a little stroll.
What's your take on integrated PC board bottom plates?
Okay, so my take on those is a really sweet idea, a really sweet concept, but you've got weakness in the board because you're not going to be using a stronger carbon. It's sometimes an added plate and therefore added weight, and it's an electronic component, so the failure rate is going to end up causing you a headache, and it's going to be annoying. And to be perfectly honest, we chose to stay away from that because somewhat of the cost to the customer at the end of the day when you have a crash, and then you've got to do all sorts of soldering and all sorts of replacement. It was just kind of one of those things that we've seen in the market, and it's pretty cool, but we're phasing it out. We're just not. We're not going with it. Okay, so from this point, I'm going to flip it over because that's going to make my life easier. So, arms are all in. This one's kind of fallen out, but we're going to just start going over here now. Thread a couple of these wires back through.
Chase 2 says, is there surgery for that? I always need a third hand.
Magic third hand. That's where you time your build, get somebody else around so you can get some help. Okay, this plate is that way around because of the way that the filing was done, and we're just going to start kind of squashing it together. Now these plates are just going to end up kind of holding each other in place, so I'll get a little bit of play, and I'm going to go for the slotted screw first, again because that's going to give me some play. It'll start holding this frame in place and let me have a bit of space to mess around, and then just start kind of squeezing things together, and if it doesn't just stop moving. This is probably the most clumsy way I've done this section so far ever.
Something to put under the bottom.
Yeah, you know, you guys can mess around with all sorts of things. You can use batteries, you can use boxes, you can really kind of mess around with this, but you know, trying to do it on camera without putting my head right in the way of the shot seems to be my issue at the moment. Come on, son, here you go. It's going to be a one leg at a time kind of a mission. But if I can just get through, like I say, if I can get through that one slot and then stick a couple of turns on one of these screws, I'm going to start to get some grip from the form of the frame itself. Dave, it's not going well. I might just request magic third hand. No, I haven't given up yet. Let me keep trying.
Chase 2 says, good to know. I have the RoboCat 270 Racer. I got the PCB boards with integrated LEDs and distribution board, but considering it has a 3-plate setup, I was going to try them out. Just figured in the long run that it would lighten the load a bit with less wire.
Yeah, it's totally true, man. The failure rate just goes up, and the pain in the ass goes up. They're super cool because there's a lot of times that they'll wire something from the front to the back for you, and there'll be a little less wiring that you've got to do. But I just don't find the benefit outweighs the costs in the long run. And you can start wiring little LEDs on wherever you fancy. You can get creative with your own builds. Here we go. Almost got one of these. Sorry if I'm blocking a lot of the shots, but you know how this part is. It's challenging. Gonna get the screw. There we go. A couple of turns should be enough. Leaves a lot of play, leaves a lot of slack.
Also just got the update for my Spectrum DX18QQ. Loving the multi-rotor applications, and the new receiver looks pretty good too. DX18QQ Spectrum.
DX18. I feel like it rings a bell. I just don't recall that one off the top of my head. Okay. Inside screws are done. Now I've got some ability to flip that back over. Make sure, I'm just checking right now that all my wires are still sticking through the center, just in case I've got to re-thread any of those. It can be a real pain. So that's really cool. I got away with it. Everything's looking really good. I'm going to just turn it back over, and I'm going to start going for the other screws now. So there's the 5-inch. There's the 5-inch hole. I'm going to push that arm in so I can really get the short setup that I'm looking for. Don't forget, I'm going with the 5-inch arm setup because I've got 2204 motors. Personally, I'm a real big fan of the 5x4x3 blades, or the bullnose 5.45 twins. Both of those are super good. They don't put a lot of strain on the ESC, on the amp draw, nor do they want to smoke your motor. You can definitely over amp your ESC and your motor if you try and use some 6-inch props on 2204 motors. So we've just had better luck with that setup. I'm a big fan of it, so this is what we're showing you on this build. We can always do another build later and and change it up. Get in the hole!
J-Stu, what's the Stealth Edition? I guess the DX18 is a radio.
Let me see. Yeah, I knew the DX. I knew the...
He's saying it's 18 channel,
Nice.
full range, special edition, last radio as well.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's a lot of people using the Spectrums, mate. Great radios. They make some good stuff. We are personally big fans of the Taranis because there's so many people out there doing a lot of open source coding and work, and it's just really popular in the market right now. So when we started messing around with the radios, we found some really big success with that, and yeah, we're well into it. The OpenTX with the computerized software is pretty incredible. We've all switched to the Taranis. One of these days I'm going to get me one of those DX editions. So I'm just kind of pushing that in. You can see the hole lining up, hopefully. Just jam it in there a little bit. Now I haven't done any of these screws up particularly tight. Again, I want some play before I do too much more, because I've got a couple of other reasons. We're going to need a little bit of play, a little bit of space in what we're trying to do. You bastard, it moved. There we go. Get in the hole. There it is. We've got some extra standoffs. That's the next section of screws and standoffs and spacers that we've got to play with. So pretty much when I'm doing the arms, I'm going to leave all the screw heads around about 1 or 2 millimeters hanging off. It's enough. It's plenty at this point. Got a frame coming together. Give my little wires a pull those through, get some space, get these wires kind of where I want them to be. Form those in there. We've got all the braided nylon mesh going up against the filed down carbon, so we've got a lot of protection, and to be honest, it's just a really clean, cool looking build. It gets your wires out of the way and enables you to do more up top. There we go, just kind of thread that one in a little bit further. That feels better. Same there, give it a pull, give it a push, and feeling pretty good about that. So, next, gonna stick all the uprights on. For this part, definitely useful to have a pair of tweezers. You get one of these, you get one of these, and we're aiming now for the standoff holes. So we're going to go front 2, back 2, and then we're going to come up here in the center in these 2 here, and then we're going to use these 2 here. So it's going to be screw first, then standoff, because we want that standoff to sit in the sandwich section of the plate for strength, and then we drop one of these right on the top. So you can do it with your fingers, you can do it with this, you can do it loads of different ways. I just kind of like using the tweezers. Helps line it up in the right way. And this is the reason why I don't sandwich down the plate yet. So that's nice and easy to get that in there. Fiddle this around. There we go. Got that one in. And we'll just drop one of these on the top.
That's impressive.
That I haven't needed magic third hand?
Yeah. Well, just that part to me too has a lot more fiddling.
Magic third hand.
It says he thought about FR Scar for Tava and the Taranis, but always had decent luck with Spectrum, setting up and considering FR Sky down the road for telemetry downlink, but my Spectrum does it too. The only downside of Spectrum is if you try using RSSI meters.
Yeah, and the Taranis is, you know, it's super good. It's got the RSSI feedback, it's got the telemetry feedback. You know, we're super big fans of that. That makes life real nice and simple and easy. And you got to have it, right? You got to have the information coming back off the drone. You want to know time in the air, so it's got the timer. You definitely want to understand the RSSI, and most importantly is the bloody voltage available coming out the batteries. That's a super big deal. Stop you dropping your drone out the air without knowing. A lot of times, you know, I get pretty excited about going quick, and the next thing you know, I'm just, you know, I've dropped a drone out of the air within like 3 minutes. I put some 2208s on it, some 6-inch props. I was so stoked with how fast it was going. I think it was maybe 2.5 minutes, and it was like, no, right out.
I think I was there that day.
Yeah, you were, weren't you? I had that shocked look on my face. I'm like, what? I've only been in the air for 2 minutes, and that was before I was messing around with a lot of the telemetry, and I won't fly without it now. And we've kind of simplified all the telemetry, so you don't have to have a lot of components. We're using the Naze board for the telemetry feedback. We've got it all tuned into the Tyrannus, and we share all of those configurations. We're trying to make life super simple, so you don't have to bother with any of it. We'll definitely go through some of that in the later part of the build. So what I'm doing right here is my wire loom is a little bit too close to this hole, so I'm just kind of shoving it back up against the arm, giving it a bit of a push. That's going to help me get my spacer in the gap correctly, and then I can start messing around with the screw coming through the bottom. Go on, son, go on, in you go. Okay. But yeah, a lot of people do fly those Spectrums. They're an amazing radio. There's nothing wrong with them, man. They do really well. We've just kind of adopted what we've adopted at this point.
And the other brand you mentioned is Futaba. Isn't that an old school?
Futaba's huge. They're really big. That's who the radio, the receiver is that we use. Yeah, we're using the FR Sky Tyrannus. I don't think I have any Futabas. Oh yeah, we do. The T9 CHPs, super old school 10-year-old ones, the ones that we use for the really big drones. Those are wicked.
I feel like Dave mentioned something about that being in like Back to the Future.
Really? Wouldn't doubt it. They've been around forever.
So JC says, I'll have to get my new drone together and get feedback from you guys on my new Naze 32 problems. Because it can't be too bad boards, but I'm using full range Naze, not the Acro.
Okay. Yeah, depends on what you need there, mate. We use the Acro just because, you know, you want to keep these things super light and you just don't need the extra features. But yeah, if you're finding that you've got the same problem on 2 different Naze boards, then yeah, you've probably got something else going on. So totally, definitely want to help you out there, mate. Give you some advice, get you helped. Some things will be obvious, we'll have seen it before. Other things we're going to scratch our heads and just jump in and figure it out. Easy. No. It's strange how much more fiddly this piece is than some of the other what I consider to be tougher parts. Just these looms every now and then, you know, you're squeezing them in, you got to push it down a little bit, and then you got to get this guy back in the right place before the loom expands again. Go on, son. Magic third hand. No. Go on. For fuck's sake. What a load of bollocks. It's gonna go. Just get in. Take the paper. That's a brilliant one too. You guys should look up Slurpy J. He's got a YouTube channel and it's called Cat vs Lexmark Printer. It's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. Slurpy J. Take the paper! Take it! He's whacking it. Stupid Lexmark, the shit! Guy's hilarious, he's comic genius. Cat video after cat video.
Internet does love their cats.
This time, it's easy. Nope. Having a blast here. No worries. Oh, there we go.
You can also go aluminum standoffs. There's a lot of those out there.
You can also go aluminium standoffs, because that's what it's called on the periodic table.
I just don't see it in the phonetics. That's the
Well, you shouldn't, because the wonderful American language has decided to change the spelling based upon the phonetic pronunciation over here.
So, like, the British spelling is...
Let's call it the international spelling, the correct spelling. Let's call it the periodic table spelling, shall we? It's called aluminium.
So we literally just changed the way that it's spelled.
Yep.
We are a bunch of assholes.
I feel like for the most part, I really like what the Americans did to the English language, because they took all of the parts that were difficult and just somewhat ridiculous, and they just threw them out, and they were like, it doesn't make sense. Colour doesn't need a U. Aluminium, well, we don't like the way that you say it, so we're going to call it aluminum. There's some kind of a dialect that couldn't pronounce it.
I think I saw that in one of Darren's documents. He was writing a bunch of stuff, and I was like, he misspelled like half the words. No.
Colour, behaviour, aluminium. No, they're real.
J Stu says, still got to order one of your kits. Was looking at them about a week ago. I have 3 other drones to build. But again, the more I have to work on, I'll have over the winter. Yeah, dude, that's the way to go. Wintertime's the time to build up.
Right. Get the army. So I just made one of those a little bit mad. I'm going to use the arms. I'm not going to try and squash the plates together on the nylon. Obviously, that's a terrible choice, because you're just going to have problems and they're not strong enough. So you're going to squash the wire looms with the screws that go into the arms through into the broaching nuts. That's going to give you a lot more crushing power. And every now and then, as I start going through the frame and I start getting a little bit closer to being done, I'll reduce some of the slack on these nuts to just kind of start holding things a little tighter. It's a wicked frame there. And this becomes the coolest part when you want to, if you need to change an arm. 2 screws there, 2 screws there, swap an arm, 2 screws, 2 screws. Zip tie that guy down and off you go.
Because the criminals will find you.
Field repairs, fully possible.
Creates a unique and dynamic
There's what's
transaction
happened.
code
I've
that
pinched
has to be there
the
for
wire
transaction to get approved. As of
ridiculously
October 1, 2015,
in a
if
spot
the
where I didn't
consumer
mean
finds
to.
an
So
EMV
keep an
capable
eye out for that.
card
We're going to just
into a
kind
merchant that does not
of
have
highlight
an
what
EMV
I've done.
enabled
I'm going to
terminal
slack
and
it
is
off so I
fraud on
can
that
show you guys a little better.
transaction, that merchant's gonna
But
bear the loss.
over here you can see I've got the wire on the top of the carbon, and I've kind of done it over here as well actually, which is a bit stupid of me. So I've started to pinch the wire under the cap of the ESC and then under the carbon in the arm. I'm going to use just a little flathead screwdriver to help me pull it back out. You don't need much, but I'm going to separate that wire from here and just kind of get that around. You don't want to put unnecessary pressure on the ESC or on that capacitor. And this one down the bottom, I've done a proper job. I started squeezing the heat shrink plus a wire into there, really just kind of not paying attention as I go, but that's a really good example to show you guys what's happening and what you don't want to do. So keep an eye out for that. I'm just going to use, like I've shown here, just pull it back up with a screwdriver, get it out the way. Get it out the way of the carbon. It's about all you really need to do. Give it the lift, and we'll be away. And I'll be. And there you go. I actually just pinched the carbon together with my hands, just to kind of put that pressure on. So now I've pinched it. I've got a lot of play on the back. I'm going to come in and do what I just mentioned. I'm just going to kind of get rid of some of that play. It's good that I get to mess it up as I'm building it, just to show you the gotchas. 2.5mm head, so I keep having to swap tools to change between these 2 screws, but it's totally worth it. Oh man, I've got to wait on crunching that down. Okay, and then what do we got? 2 more down the very end. Let's get back into doing these. And if you do put too much pressure on, then you're going to struggle to get these guys back in, but generally you can kind of force the carbon just a little bit, squeeze these in. I'll do them a little differently when I get to the last 2. Now I'll just kind of get it squeezed in the carbon and then just line it up, because it won't go anywhere. Line that up, about like that. jam that through. There we go, got that one. And the last. Cool. There it is. Rear of the drone, front of the drone. Motors are all in the right place. Everything's in the 5-inch arm position. I'm going to start tightening everything up. I'm going to double check before I do, make sure I'm not pinching anything in a strange way. I'm going to make sure these have got the right kind of position. Everything's feeling pretty good. I'm not pinching that one, so I feel good. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to go for the arms first. I'm actually going to go back through all of them after I kind of put like a finger pinch tight on them. Just finger tight. I'll go back and I'll actually cinch them all one more time. But for this point we're going to go with the arms. You get a really good pinch and then we can come back, we'll do the standoffs. Right, those arms don't wiggle anymore, they're nice and firm. One more go. Now I'm cinching them again. When I'm doing this, I really want a nice strong pressure on the other side. I don't want to strip the heads off, so as with any screwdriver kind of operation, push hard, go for it. The other thing that you can do whilst you're doing this step, and now that I've gotten to this point, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll get a hold of some of the Loctite thread lock, and for these screws that are going in, I'll actually now, once I'm at this point, I will take them back out one at a time so that I don't get any frame movement, but I'll start locking some of this blue lock thread on them. Vibrations happen, right? And these do come out if you don't do that. So I'm not going to do it for this one just because it's my demo, but yeah, totally advise it. Get some thread lock, jam those in, you'll be happy. They won't fall out randomly. Okay, now that I've done that, these ones I'm really not worrying about doing up too tight because they are going into a nylon standoff and you're just going to start making a mess of it. So tight is tight, don't worry about doing too much. Thread lock again on these, totally advise it. Otherwise you're definitely going to turn your drone over. You know, pre-flight checklist. Hopefully you guys do those. Definitely advise a pre-flight check of your drone. I turn it upside down before I fly every single time, and I tighten up every screw I can see. Then I'll go on the top and I'll tighten all those. And multiple times I found that that's been beneficial to do. Cool. There's another section done. Got our wires. She's looking pretty good. Starting to look like a drone, mate. I think that's probably it. I think I'm going to call it. Dive into the next section next time. We'll start breaking out the soldering iron and doing some of the wiring. Next session we'll start lining all these guys up. We'll get the main power. We'll start messing around with the LED on the bottom. Start worrying about where we're going to strap that guy. Get the looms done. Start worrying about some of the basics. So much fun. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for tuning in, dudes. We'll be back on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Mountain. Come hang out.